What up, peeps? Dre the Sunflower Poet here, and today's video is going to be about 3 lessons I learned being a spoken word artist and going to open mics or any other type of event that involved doing spoken word. So, the reason I want to do this is to share my experiences and how it helped me in order to help other people who are on the same journey or are looking to go down the path of being a spoken word artist and going to these open mics. So, 3 things. The first thing is your projection, making sure that there's clarity in your voice, that is clear, that there's word pronunciation. I can't emphasize that enough because sometimes you'll be at open mic and you're kind of talking like this versus projecting like this. And granted, you have a mic, but the mic doesn't always pick up on what you're saying on top of you hearing your own words. And I remember when I first started, I was rushing through. I was so nervous. I was just sweating. I was trying to get off the stage. And so a lot of the words ran together. And thankful to some folks who gave me feedback about that, along with me watching other artists. It was like, slow down, pronounce your sentences, make sure like the audience knows, like they can follow you through that. So I can't emphasize that enough. The second thing is use your gestures, hand movements, or your facial expressions. Now, I understand you have a phone in your hand, and it's kind of hard to really move your body, but sometimes it's, even halfway or even just allowing your face to speak for itself. Any type of level of emotion, nonverbal, is normally a louder um, type of communication than verbal. And with a poem, it's like I'm just trying to paint you a picture and show you where my head was at or what it is I'm trying to say. So I need y'all, the audience, to be with me on that. So that's 2. 3 is making sure that you introduce the poem. So when you come up there, and they're gonna say, "Hey, it's Drea the Sunflower Poet." And I'm going up there, and I've already thought about a poem what I'm gonna do in my mind, and so introduce myself, and I either do one or 2 things. I introduce the poem, I say what the name of it is, I do a call to respond. So introducing the poem, call to respond. Actually, it's 3 things. Introduce the poem or do a call to respond. So it's kind of like an interactive thing, keeping the audience engaged. And then the third thing is finding like a level of segue, having a little monologue of like say 1 or 2 sentences, and then introduce the poem. Now the audience doesn't really know all of that to a degree, but it helps to kind of build it, right? So that's 3. So those are 3 tips that I got for y'all. So just take your time, give yourself grace. It's a process. It's still practice. There will be times when you're not going to be 100% on point, and that's okay. You're not performing for the audience. You're like, this is for yourself. Like, this is your art. This is your creativity, and you put as much work into it as you get out of it. So, just to recap, making sure you work on your projection, making that voice clear, making it be heard, make sure your words are pronounced. And I believe that's so important. Second, gestures, hand movements, facial expressions, just really like playing the part. And not necessarily playing the part, but just delivering a performance like you're a one person show. And so, in your 5 minutes or however long, like that's your level to really perform and express yourself. And the last thing, the third one was make sure you introduce the poem by finding a segue. And that will give you a level of time, if you will, or even just a transition to go from, okay, I was thinking about my nerves, I calmed my nerves down. Now I'm ready to go into my story. So those are my 3 tips for being a spoken word artist. Let me know in the comments or, um, you know, let me know what you think. And let's have a discussion about what's level important in an open mic. But other than that, more videos to come on this. Appreciate you tuning in. Peace and love.